What's up, guys? It's just Chris back here because I wanted to talk about the Superkick heard round the world. Jey Uso turning on Sami Zayn, super kicking him at the end of Monday Night Raw, and just yet another twist in the saga, the one of the greatest wrestling storylines of all time, pure cinema, Bloodline. This is like, dude, I watched this happen and I watched it a few times and it hurts. This hurts to see because Jey and Sami came so far, and I want to get this out of the way right now. I'm not feeling the tag team match. Like, I know it's coming. I know it's probably going to be Usos versus KO and Sami for the belts. That just feels weird. It feels like this entire story is not really about the tag team titles, and those titles have felt completely irrelevant for years in WWE. If anything, it feels like this is a story about Jey Uso, and the story is between Jey and Sami, and Jey and Jimmy, and then eventually Jey and Roman. So throwing the tag belts in here with a what seems to me like it's gonna feel like a forced tag team of KO and Sami. And if you're excited for that, that's awesome. I wish I could be, but honestly it feels like a demotion compared to Sami Zayn's Universal title picture that he was sort of in briefly. But man, this storyline is so good, and this segment in particular with Jey turning on Sami, at first I didn't get it. I really didn't understand why Jey would turn on the person that he defended multiple times. He defended him at the trial of Sami Zayn. He defended, chose not to beat him up at the Royal Rumble. Tried to protect him at Elimination Chamber. Got speared accidentally. And he finally turned on him here, and it just, even talking about it now, it just sucks. Like, it sucks that this happened. The crowd chanting like Usi. We were getting holy shit chants for Jey and Sami just standing next to each other. The pop when they hugged. I mean, like, it's crazy. And it's like, there's so many other things that, like, almost, I feel bad because I love Cody Rhodes, but it almost feels like he is unfortunately, like, thrown in. Just unfortunate from a standpoint of, like, he doesn't really have anything to do with the Bloodline. He's even said, like, I just want to win the title at WrestleMania. But man, it just, I don't know what else you could have done here. I really don't. I don't know what other match you could have booked that would have made sense. I think that, man, a Jey Uso Sami Zayn match. See, that's the thing. It's like Jey didn't want to do what he did, but if you've been following along, Roman basically threatened Jimmy this past Friday and said, if Jey's not back by this coming Friday, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, in a PG sense of him making a threat like that. And so, essentially Jey turned on Sami because he's trying to protect Jimmy, which he did before when Roman a few years ago was like gonna put Jimmy in the guillotine, and Jey, I think, said I quit because otherwise he wasn't gonna say I quit. And he's trying to save Jimmy, who's in too deep, and Jey is in even deeper, and Sammy's the only one who's been able to get out, and he's trying to take his friends, or the people he sees as his brothers, he's trying to take them with him. And it just, Roman Reigns, this evil villain, has such a hold on these guys. The manipulation, using Jimmy to get to Jey, knowing that Jey is not going to let something happen to his brother that he could avoid, right? Because he defended the tag belts, he showed up to defend the tag titles, and he's been a little, spotty, not showing up at all the shows that Jimmy's at. But when Jimmy's needed him, Jey has always been there. And So there is consistency. I got to give him that. There is consistency in this motivation. I see it now. I understand it now. It makes a lot more sense once I got over the emotion of like just not wanting Jey to ever, attack Sammy, turn on Sammy, because, boy, it feels like if Jimmy wasn't his twin brother, man, Jey and Sammy, they got some tag team chemistry. Like, they already did a tag team match, didn't they, when Jimmy got injured? Like, man, there's something there. And there's also something there with Jey Uso, who I think is seems to me like he is prepping to hopefully get another run as main event Jey, which he definitely deserves. But I just want to talk about this segment. These Bloodline segments are getting so emotionally devastating that I have to sometimes, I don't know if you guys feel this, but I have to sometimes find myself reminding myself that it's not real, that it is like a wrestling storyline, because it's being done so well. The acting, Jey Uso in this segment in particular on Raw, the acting is so good. It's so immersive that I'm forgetting that none of this is real. I'm this is one of the few wrestling storylines that I'm having these lapses of being able to remind myself that it's not a real thing that's happening. This is a carefully crafted cinematic storyline that we are getting. But man, it's showing that when wrestling is done right, sometimes wrestling blurs the lines between what's real and what's fake. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? This is 100% fake, and it feels more real than a lot of the shooty, worky angles, which I think is just a testament to showing that you don't always need those angles in order for wrestling to feel legit, because this feels legit. Is there any storyline that feels more legit when you are invested and watching it happen? Is there any storyline that feels more real than this Bloodline story? We're feeling real emotions. I'm feeling real emotion when Jey Uso super kicks Sami Zayn. The crowd is feeling real emotion. They are losing their minds when these two hug. These guys have probably hugged hundreds of times backstage, all the time. They've been hanging out for months. And the crowd lost their minds when Jey Uso super kicked him. Just a crazy pop. I was thinking man, you better hope the pop when Kevin and Sammy hug is as loud as the Jey and Sammy one, because I don't know, it seems like the Jey Sammy stuff, I mean, if you just look at the numbers, that video alone is at 1 million views in less than a day, and every other clip that they uploaded from the show, not even close. And I get the story. I thought it was a nice little beat at the end that Cody ran out to save Sammy from a 3-on-1 beatdown and not Kevin, who was there. Maybe he's going to say he left, whatever. But I think it makes more sense if he's just backstage, just not ready to come out and kind of getting tired of getting sucked into this Bloodline thing and having to save Sammy because Sammy made his choice. But man, this storyline, I'm still invested. I wasn't sure, after Sammy lost at Elimination Chamber, if I was going to still feel invested. And I do feel invested, and I want to see where it goes before Mania. But there's this part of me that feels like the tag team match that's not the story. I don't know what other match you could book. You need a match with Sammy and Jey at WrestleMania. So I guess if they're not going to do a one-on-one, although, I don't know. There's something there. There might be something there with those two. Even though, it feels very you don't want to see them fight. And Jey didn't want to do what he did. He did what he had to do to save Jimmy. He didn't want to hurt Sammy. And you could see it in his eyes. He felt so heartbroken of what he had to do. And if anything, it's part of me is he had to make it look good. He had to make it look believable so that Roman was all right, he's back in. We got him back in. He's got him back under my thumb. And he made it look pretty believable, because I am sitting there devastated watching it. And then WWE's posting it on their Twitter and it's going up on YouTube Reels. And I'm just give me a break. This is so sad. But as a wrestling fan, I am greatly enjoying this storyline. I'm still invested. I can't wait to see where it goes, because I think now it looks like it's probably headed into SummerSlam, which, look, if the Bloodline stuff is still interesting now, then why not just run through Mania, keep doing it. There's, probably more stuff you could do. Maybe we do get The Rock eventually, depending on how long the story goes. But man, this Monday, that felt like a truly historic, I don't want to overstate it, but like a historic moment on Monday Night Raw. And boy, it's hard to watch, and I'm trying to remind myself that it's not real. But man, this Bloodline story is one of the greatest programs that WWE has ever done.